Hey pre-dents, I know it's been a while since I've made a video, but I've been recently accepted to dental school. So I wanted to make a video and let you guys know what I did and what I did throughout undergrad to manage to get interviews to quite a few schools like Penn, Michigan, Pitt, NYU, and others. And I was actually accepted to all the schools that I interviewed at. So if you have any questions about interviewing, let me know and I'll make a video on that too. So to start off, the most important things you gotta do right off the bat, your GPA and your DAT. Now, you gotta work on these throughout your 4 years. Make sure they're up to standard. I have a video on the DAT and how I managed to do well on that, and I can post a link below in the description for you guys. What I wanted to focus on in today's video was the other category, everything else that really makes you a qualified dental applicant. Now, GPA and DAT will get your foot in the door for dental school, but it won't get you in. They really want to see other things about you as an applicant as a whole. It's a very holistic approach when it comes to accepting people to these schools. So first off, I wanted to talk about is your extracurricular activities. Now, this is a very broad spectrum. I wrote down a couple examples here for you guys, things you can do while you're in undergrad to make yourself a more competitive applicant. The first thing is research. Now, depending on what kind of school you go to, I went to a school that was really heavy on research, and you don't have to do research in order to get into dental school, but if you're passionate about it, dental schools love to see that. But really, it's all about doing things that you're passionate about. So I was passionate about the research that I did, so that was part of my application. That was actually a big portion of my application that I felt that really helped me out. In addition to that, different organizations you can get involved with on campus. I co-founded an organization. I was part of like other organizations outside of the health field and then other organizations within it. So you can just show them that you have different passions, that you have different interests, and really just be you and do things that you enjoy. And then when you talk about it during your interview day, you'll really light up and everything will run very smoothly. Next, any kind of hobbies that you're into. Like I said, they like to see that you're not a robot. If you have other hobbies outside of the field of dentistry, they love to see that. For me, for instance, I play guitar. That was something that we talked about a little bit to dental schools, which they liked because playing an instrument was also really good with the field of dentistry because you have to have really good eye-hand coordination, that kind of stuff. So next, I would like to talk about clinical experience. Now, most dental schools, it's a requirement to have some clinical experience. Now, you don't have to necessarily work in a dental office or anything like that. Most dental schools want you to have shadowy experience. Like most of the schools I applied to had a minimum of at least 100 hours required, but that's really good. You need to shadow anyway and make sure this is the field you really want to do. So yeah, so those are just 4 areas that you can work on in your extracurriculars that can really help you stand out during the application cycle. Next, I'd like to talk about is your personal statement. So the personal statement is super important. This is the time for you to show them who you are as a person, why you want to be a dentist, and what's gotten you to this point. So really make sure you're honest, make sure it's genuine. This is a holistic view, and they really want to get to know you as an applicant. So when it comes to writing personal statements, maybe you could do a lot of research on them. I can make a separate video on how I approached my personal statement. You just got to make sure that thing is on point. It's a huge portion of your application. It's really important because it really addresses who you are on like a piece of paper, and it's only a page long. So you got to make sure it's nice and tidy. So if you've done all this and then you get to the point where you get to an interview, congratulations. I know that it can be very stressful, and it's a very big portion of whether or not you will be accepted to the university because it's going to be talking about who you really are. It's going to be showing who you are in person versus on a piece of paper. I can make a separate video on that if you guys would like. Like I said, I got into all the schools I interviewed at. It's not as stressful as many people think. Some of my interviews were more one-on-one for like 30 minutes to an hour. Other interviews are called multiple mini interviews where you like rotate through stations and answer questions and stuff like that. So yeah, this is like what I really focused on in my time in undergrad to get into dental school. And because of this, I managed to get into my top dental school, and I'm very fortunate. So if you guys have any questions, comment below. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Have a good day.